All right. So if you're tired of your mix sounding weak, then keep watching. If your mix doesn't sound like that, it's because you forgot the bones of your mix. So let's talk about that one thing that is often forgotten when mixing metal. Because everyone's chasing the perfect guitar tone or the sickest drum tones, and they want their mix louder and fatter and punchier and all these things. But a metal mix generally is not weak because of bad guitar tones or drum tones. Especially these days, it's very easy and we have a lot of options at our fingertips for creating great drum tones and guitar tones. But what is most often ignored actually, which is probably the most important part of a metal mix, the foundation, is your bass guitar. So I'm going to show you and prove to you why your bass guitar is probably the most vital aspect of a metal mix and is directly responsible for making your mix sound bigger, wider, fatter, and more 3D, okay? It's not your guitar tones and it's not your kick drum. Now, I can understand why you might be going, what are you talking about? Because a lot of people just think about bass like, okay, cool, we get a nice grindy bass tone, you know, the dangle dangle, like my friend Cola likes to say, and then just slip it into the mix and bam, dangle dangle, everything sounds good. But a bass guitar in a metal mix fundamentally connects the kick drum with the guitars. So you take the bass guitar and you're blending it into those two elements, which is like the bridge, and it's connecting the low end of the kick to the guitars. And that little bridge of the bass guitar, the low end, the low mids, is really what makes everything sound solid. And without this, your mix is going to feel small. In fact, I'll prove it to you right now. So I'll play the same exact section right here. All I'm going to do while the mix is playing is mute the bass. Just listen to what happens to the mix. So you can hear without a shadow of a doubt that when the bass is muted, the width and thickness and the depth of the mix just falls out. There's a decrease in impact and there's a decrease in punch. That is how important a bass guitar is in a metal mix. Now, the reason that I used this song in particular is because there's a shitload of crazy drums going on. Because I know some of you would say, well, yeah, Scott, it's really easy to get a nice big fat bass sound when you're playing AC/DC type music with no kick drums or yada yada yada. That's not the point. So I'm proving to you in this quite extreme death metal song that when you have a great bass tone, it literally adds the depth and the 3D and the width and the size that all of you want in a metal mix. Let's talk about how I created this bass tone, and then I want to show you just how vital and important this is and how it elevates the mix. So I am using BONESTAGER by Oracle Sound. I want to say Jay is sponsoring this video, but instead of a boring ass plugin review like, it's got knobs and it does bass sounds, I thought it would just make more sense to show you how to use the fucking thing and just how important bass is in your mix. So this is BONESTAGER. It's very similar to PAINSTAGER in terms of design and how it's used. I did a video about PAINSTAGER. You can watch that. But essentially, you've got a left channel and a right channel, and the left channel feeds into the right channel. That means you can get really interesting blends. And then you have tame and tight, which are just filters on the other side of the frequency spectrum. But the main thing here are all of these different snapshots of bass tones. So if we listen to this tone, this is the distortion tone that I came up with. Sounds really good. Now, originally, because I'm a fan of like that SansAmp type sound, I pretty much went through the sounds until I found the SansAmp, because there's always a SansAmp in bass sound. So the snaz is the SansAmp, sounds like this. Just has that nice clanky, slinky sound that I like. But I noticed that, we could fill out the middle of the distortion a little bit. Now, normally if you wanted to do this with a SansAmp, you're sitting there with knobs and it's a pain in the ass. So what I did was, I was like, well, there's got to be a tone here that I can blend into this I could fatten it out. So I just engaged the second channel here, and I just went through all the different tones until I found a combination that I liked. And ultimately, this combination was clank. So listen to what happens. Fattens it up totally. It also actually not thins out, but it tames the top, rounds it off even a little bit more, so the attack isn't as annoying. Because you noticed up here I was doing some taming and tightening, but I was like, damn, that sounds really good. Now let me show you something interesting. You see I have the snaz on the left and the clank on the right. If I reverse this, so if I go clank into snaz, listen to the result. So you can mix and match and change the order of the blending. So basically, whatever amount of blends that you could create, you can pretty much double it. There's a lot of different sounds that you can create here. So spend some time and go through that and find a combination that you like. Obviously, you can just use one of these that you like, but I think the power of this plugin really is combining the two different sounds and getting a unique bass tone. And it's really simple to do. That's the main thing. And I think this thing is like 30 bucks, so it's quite affordable. So this is the main distortion sound that I came up with. I'm not doing anything crazy here. If we look at my processing, there's nothing going on. It's just the main sound, you know. But I notice when I'm listening to this that we can add some more oomph and energy into the low end of the bass. So I reached into my mind. I was like, oh, there was this thing that I remember Cola doing a couple of years ago that I saw him doing. And I'm like, let me try that. So I'm going to show you the exact same process that Cola did. So what we do is we do the split bass method, right? We have a bass low and a bass high. So with the bass low, what you want to do is you just want to carve off the frequencies of the mids and high end that you don't want. And in this particular instance, I'm feeding this to a mono effects track. So if we come down here to that track, we see that we have our bass mono. Don't worry about the settings. I can't tell you what the settings are. They're always going to be different. The main thing is the frequency at 80. We're hyping this particular frequency. And then we are once again just making sure we're not catching any of the upper frequencies. We don't care about that. And then we are compressing those low end frequencies just to keep things uniform and consistent. We don't want, peaks and valleys here. We don't want the low end to move, right? We want it pinned. That's the whole point of all this. So once that processing and everything is done, we get a result that sounds like this. Now you can hear how punchy that low end is and consistent it is. Now when we put that in, when we combine that, so you can see here I'm on, just watch the name of this channel setting here. I'm on my bass high setting with the BONESTAGER. I'm going to mute this. All right, so we have just the distortion, and I will engage this and watch what happens. We have added a lot of low-end content there, but the effect is what? The bass somehow sounds wider, bigger, deeper, more 3D. This is how you do that. So by combining these two things, we get that overall sound. So this obviously all goes into a bass group where we do pretty much our basic bitch processing. So I just have EQ here. I'm just rolling off some of the extreme sub-lows. We don't need any of that content down here. Remember, we are hyping around 80 hertz. So if we press play, we're just getting rid of this content here that really we can't hear as humans, and it would just muddy up the mix. We're doing low control. Now, low control is interesting because you have this enhanced feature built in right into this plugin. So if you have low control, you can essentially do what I've just done with our bass, and you don't have to do that. So instead of having 3 different faders you would need to keep track of, you can just use this one plugin. I just opted to use our bass mono because I remembered Cola doing that, and I just wanted to recreate those processes and just make sure that I had it down. I am making use of the compression again here, but it's very slight. I'm essentially doing multiple stages of compression instead of making one compressor do all the work. You'll see that I have basically 3 different compressors doing a little bit of the work. So in culmination, it's cleaner, there's no distortion, and it sounds better. Then we have this, and so we have the multiband here, which is the last stage, and this is literally almost doing nothing. We're pretty much only engaging the sub lows here, and all of those different stages, like I say, helps control the bass. And this finally goes into a limiter, which is essentially just the last little peaks, barely doing anything. But all those small moves in culmination, like I say, create the overall sound to the bass sound that we have right now. Now, you might be like, okay, what's the secret? There's no secret, guys. That's just as basic mixing stuff as you can get. So if you just do that and you practice that and you practice putting that into the mix, you'll be good to go. Now, the one thing that I want to do here is I want to prove just how powerful this is. So if we listen to the drums, so you see the drums here, and I solo the drums, they're going to sound pretty good. Kick drum is punchy, it's full, but you notice we just don't have a lot of width. We don't have a lot of depth. It's not big, all right? So let's go to our bass, and I will engage the bass with the drums and listen to what happens. Instant depth, instant width, okay? That's how important bass is. Let's talk about guitar. So if we go to the guitars here are my guitars. Let's solo the guitars. I'm playing in drop A. There's a lot of blowing in there. It's really tight, it's really thick, it's really consistent, it's quad tracked, it's an Engel Savage 120 Mark II. It's awesome, it's sick. However, it feels very narrow. Even though these are 100% pan left, right, we still have this kind of narrow type of feeling to it. Well, let's engage the bass and listen to what happens. The other effect that you're going to hear is you're going to be like, holy shit, those guitars sound super thick, super meaty, super big, super wide. Is it because of the guitar tone? It's because of the bass, guys. 80% of your guitar tone in a mix is the bass guitar, all right? This is why it's so important to have a really good bass tone in a metal mix. So if we put all these three elements together, let's put so we're going to solo the drums and the guitars right now, and then we'll put the bass in and just listen to what happens to the mix. I feel like now I proved the point and I'm beating a dead horse. Bass guitar is probably the most vital element of a metal mix, and it is most directly responsible for making a mix sound 3D, wide, and big. So by the way, guys, I just wanted to mention that if you want to try mixing this song, I put the multi-tracks on my website. The name of the song is called Succubus. They're on the site right now. The cool thing is I did something different this time. I've actually created TONEX captures and NAMM captures of my guitar tones that I used here, so you can use those guitar tones, you can play with them and write your own music with them. Of course, I'm also including DIs so you can craft your own guitar tones. It's a very interesting, challenging song to mix. We got a lot of orchestral stuff, as you can see here, and we got some pretty crazy drums. The drums, by the way, are Deviant drums. Really good library. I'll actually include the preset here that I created for this if you want to use that, if you have Deviant drums. But yeah, great library to use there. Awesome dude as well. And obviously, we have the BONESTAGER here. You know, the BONESTAGER is doing a lot of work. It's really the bones of the mix, as it were, okay? So I really hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I hope I proved my point, why it's so important that you have a great bass guitar tone. It really is the glue, and it really is the foundation of a mix, all right? Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.